Have you ever felt like you're losing everything, but no one really understands what's going on inside? You can't even put it into words. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. But the real story is yet to come. If you want to know who this person was and how they turned their pain into strength, you won't want to miss this story. Dear listeners, please subscribe my channel to achieve goal 1,000 numbers. There are some things in life that always stay with us. Sometimes we ignore them, and sometimes we have to face them. And then comes a time when we are most afraid of them, our own loneliness. When you think of Clint Eastwood, you probably imagine a figure who hides his emotions, a man who never shows his pain. But did you know that throughout much of his life, he too struggled with loneliness and sorrow? He once said, "I wanted to show in my films something that I feel deeply in my own life." And one of the biggest things in his life has always been understanding his emotions and holding his pain inside. But does that really work? Does it truly make a difference? Is it just words that affect us? Or is there something deeper within a person that touches their mind and heart? This is just the beginning. But here's something else to think about. Clint Eastwood's life was very different from ours, but the one thing he learned most was how to never truly show his real feelings at every turn in his life. But how do we learn to do that? Is it even possible for any of us? In his early life, Clint faced many obstacles that shaped who he was. Born in San Francisco, he came from a humble background. His childhood wasn't easy. He often had to face feelings of abandonment and not fitting in. His parents, who had their own struggles, weren't always present for him. This sense of isolation started early and stayed with him. It's easy to see how Clint developed his tough, stoic persona over time. In Hollywood, he became known for playing characters who rarely expressed their emotions. But in reality, it wasn't just for the screen. It was how he coped with life. Clint was no stranger to the feeling of being misunderstood. In interviews, he spoke of a time when he didn't know where he belonged in the world. His acting career started with uncertainty, and many doubted him. But in the midst of all this, Clint found something: resilience. He didn't let rejection stop him. Instead, he turned every setback into fuel for his drive. It's that silent strength, that ability to move forward despite the pain, that defines him even today. His journey wasn't about winning the battle every time. It was about getting back up, even when it seemed impossible. We can all relate to this. Life often throws curveballs, whether it's rejection, loneliness, or failure. But Clint's story reminds us that it's not the struggle itself, but how we handle it, that makes all the difference. Clint's breakthrough came with a fistful of dollars in 1964. It was the start of something that would change his career forever, but also transform him in ways he hadn't expected. The film turned Clint into a global star, and with fame came new pressures. Yet, despite the success, something shifted in Clint. He began to feel the weight of the public's expectations. In interviews, Clint has often reflected on the overwhelming nature of fame. It wasn't just the bright lights or the adoration, it was the feeling of being trapped in a box, unable to show vulnerability. The persona of the strong, silent type became more than just a character. It became a shield he wore to protect himself from the world. But with success came a deeper internal conflict. Clint's real struggle was never external. His greatest battle was against himself. He started to ask tough questions. Who was he behind the roles? Was he just the characters he played, or was there more to him? At this point, Clint began to find a way to cope with his emotions in a healthier way. Rather than suppress them, he started channeling them into his work as a director. In films like Unforgiven, 1992, he explored the consequences of violence, guilt, and redemption, issues he grappled with personally. His characters weren't just tough men. They were deeply conflicted, vulnerable individuals trying to find peace in a world full of chaos. Clint's turning point wasn't marked by a single moment, but by a series of decisions that led him to open up, even if just a little. He learned that true strength wasn't about hiding his emotions, but rather embracing them and using them to create something meaningful. As Clint Eastwood grew older, he began to see his work and legacy in a different light. While he was still known for playing the strong, silent hero, Clint realized that his most powerful films were the ones where his characters weren't just warriors or gunslingers. They were human beings who struggled, questioned, and sought redemption. It was these stories that resonated most deeply with audiences, because they reflected the very real, often painful journey of life. Films like $1 Million Baby, 2004, showed Clint's own understanding of vulnerability and resilience. The story of a female boxer overcoming the odds only to face an unexpected tragedy mirrored Clint's own inner battles with fate and identity. He said in interviews that the film was close to his heart because it dealt with themes of loss, hope, and finding purpose in a cruel world. In this phase of his life, Clint no longer needed to hide behind the image of the tough guy. Instead, he embraced the full range of human emotions, joy, sorrow, pain, and love, and used them to tell stories that left a lasting impact. He understood that life was not just about survival. It was about connection, compassion, and the strength to rise from failure. Today, Clint Eastwood is seen as more than just an actor or a director. He's a symbol of how to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. His films serve as a reminder that it's okay to be vulnerable, that it's okay to struggle. What matters is the courage to keep moving forward, no matter what. Clint Eastwood's journey is not just about his films or his iconic roles. It's about the deeper message he imparts through his life and work. He's shown us that strength is not always about being unbreakable. Sometimes it's about acknowledging your own fragility and still finding the will to go on. His career is a testament to the power of resilience and emotional depth. Today, Clint's influence goes beyond the screen. Many actors and filmmakers cite him as an inspiration, not just for his work, but for the way he faced his personal struggles. The quiet power of his presence on screen reminds us that every one of us carries a story, a past, and a set of emotions that shape who we are. And even when life feels like it's too much to bear, Clint's story proves that there's always a way forward. Statistics also support this. Studies have shown that storytelling, like Clint's, has a profound impact on people's mental and emotional well-being. When we see characters overcome adversity, we are reminded of our own ability to persevere. It's not just about the entertainment. It's about the connection we feel to the human experience. Clint Eastwood's legacy is one of authenticity. He taught us that it's not the struggles themselves that define us, but how we choose to respond to them. By embracing both our strengths and weaknesses, we can create lives of meaning, purpose, and, most importantly, peace.